Good morning, good morning, good morning. Buenos dias, mi gente yo-yo. Welcome to Daily Discipline number 422. Today is the 12th day of December, so you got a 12-12 there. That's kind of fun. It's a work day. It's a thirsty Thursday. We got lots to do, so let's just do it. Let's go. First things first, I'm still the realist. I'm also a learner. Yeah. I remember a while ago, that somebody gave me a piece of advice and said, look, everybody that you interact with, you should learn at least one thing from every person that you meet. And so I've been learning as I go, and we're going to talk more about that in my thought of the day here in just a minute. My thankies, got several. I got a chance to speak with Uncle Buck yesterday. That's always a pleasure. Always gets my mind racing with good stuff. I wanted to call out what I got going on here on my chin. So Sissy, a few weeks ago, asked me to grow this out. She said she wanted me to be like Santa Claus and grow it out as long as I could till Christmas. So we've got 2 more weeks of this. Yes, it's driving me crazy because it's the same length, but it curls over. It just looks terrible. But Sissy loves it, and I sit here and play with it when I'm talking to people on the phone. And it's a little bit like a stress reliever. So I'm thankful for it. It's kind of a pain in the ass right now, but it always makes me think of Sissy. So what could be wrong with that? Speaking of Sissy, here's another thank you. So a couple weeks ago, and I had a conference call in the morning. And sometimes when I have conference calls in the morning and I have the kids, that it ends up with the kids being late to school, primarily Addison, right? And so a couple weeks ago, I had to take her into school late, went in there, got her a little sticker, gave her the sticker. She ran out, told me she loved me. And then later she was like, hey, Daddy, by the way, remember when we were late to school? Yeah. And she said, well, I saved that sticker. I put it on my journal at school. So every time that I see that, I think of you. And I'm like, well, there's good and bad in that. I don't want Sissy to, every time she's late to think of me, right? But I'm very encouraged that my little girl understands sentimental and nostalgia and that she does things to purposely remind herself of me. That's awesome. I'm thankful for that. All right, moving on. I'm thankful that I got a half-breed friend down in South Carolina, from South Carolina by way of Ohio that's living in Tennessee that reached out to me yesterday. He lives in the area code 423, and last night I got a text message from him saying, hey, just know that as you're prepping for 423, which is tomorrow, you got peeps down here that love you. How about that? Thank you, Mr. Half-Breed. How about a shout out to the University of Illinois? Now, this really doesn't mean much to me. This brings joy to Hobie, right? But the University of Illinois won a big basketball game last night. They beat Michigan, who's ranked like number 4, number 5 in the country. They won a couple big football games to close out the football year. Things are trending up and to the right for the University of Illinois. I don't think they'll ever go as high as they want, but nonetheless, I'm thankful that if it makes Hobie happy, it makes me happy. Last thank you, right? I don't want to be too thankful today. Is that yesterday, Maddie Nice, who works with me at my day job, and the Creeper, who used to work at my day job, but now works for our competitor, were in the same place at the same time yesterday, working on a deal and up in Iowa. And that's a good place for both those goofballs. That's where they were hatched. And so I'm glad that they were sitting around. And they were talking nonsense on me, right? So whatever. Deuces. I'm glad you two were able to rub dinkies or whatever the hell you did yesterday. All right. We're moving on. So back to the thought of the day. The thought of the day is that we need to learn something from everybody with whom we engage, right? And so some people we engage with more than others. Some people it's just a brief moment. I love this when I get into an Uber because those are very random interactions and just think to myself, what am I going to learn here, right? What's the one thing I'm going to learn? And sometimes what I was supposed to learn from an interaction doesn't come to me till a couple days later. I may wake up in the middle of the night, may just hit me like, oh my gosh, that's what I was supposed to learn. And so I want you to think about that for a minute. So it's not always good that what we learn. I've had bosses or people in my life that the only things I learn from them are how not to behave, right? We're always going to learn something. Either it's something we should be doing or something we should be doing. And again, if we stop and think about the people who are most impactful in our lives, there's like 10 things that we learn from them. So the more, it's kind of like reasons that you would do something. If you have one reason, and if you think of it as a stool that you're sitting on, you're on a pogo stick. If you have two, that's kind of like that's not even a ladder. That's just you got two things, right? Well, that is a ladder. You put it up against, a house, right? But that's a leverage point. 3, you then have a stool. 4, the more you go, the more stable it is. Anyway, same way with when you learn from somebody. If you learn one thing from somebody, they're probably transactional, and most likely it's probably something that you shouldn't be doing. But yeah, so we talked about this. Let's see, how many days ago was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days ago, we talked about being a biter, right? Taking something that you've learned from somebody else, modifying, making it your own, and being like, that is now part of my life game, right? My strategy. And so, yeah, I would encourage all of us, because I've been sitting here thinking, like, who are the people that are the most impactful in my life? What have I learned from them? And then those are the people that I should seek out and spend more time with. Sometimes that's, like those skirball and those people aren't around anymore. So we just reflect. Anyway, here's the point. Learn something from everybody you meet. Everybody, right? And if you stop and think about it, even the people that you're like, I couldn't learn anything from that person, like you could learn a lot from that person. It's what not to do. With that, I'm done for the day. Hands up. Peace out. We're better together. Appreciate you stopping by. We'll be back tomorrow. It's going to be a football Friday, right? Yeah, we'll have something because it's Bears-Packers weekend coming up. And by the way, they're playing in Green Bay. I'm just saying. All right. So we'll talk to you guys later. Deuces. Have a great day.